Representative Louis Gohmert, who absolutely has refused to wear a mask, has been diagnosed with coronavirus. He was scheduled to fly to Texas with Donald Trump and then ended up testing positive in a pre-screen at the White House. Now, again, Louis Gohmert is one of these Republican lawmakers who has spoken out against wearing a mask. In fact, he recently told CNN, he said this in June actually, if I get it, you'll see me without a mask, okay? Well, you got it, you definitely got it. And he was part of a House Judiciary Committee hearing with William Barr, so that's the Attorney General. And he was not wearing a mask when he was walking very, very close to William Barr and other lawmakers. I also want to note that Louis Gohmert used the same microphone that other lawmakers used during the hearing. So I'm very understanding toward lawmakers who are concerned that they might have coronavirus now. And when Louis Gohmert was asked about this, he said something absolutely ridiculous. So let's take a look at the next clip.
I can't help but think that if I hadn't been wearing a mask so much in the last 10 days or so, I really wonder if I would have gotten it. But I know, moving the mask around, getting it just right, I'm bound to put some virus on the mask that I sucked in. That's most likely what happened.
But why are you so dumb? But why? How did that? How did this happen?
He can't help but think. You could start to. So his issue is that he said he got virus on the mask. So he wiped virus onto the mask with his hands. And if not for the mask, he would have been fine. Don't worry about the virus on your hands in this insane fantasy you've cooked up. You would have been okay if not for the mask.
Let me just break this down for you guys in a way that I think is very easy to understand. So you have Democrats who take this pandemic seriously. Jerry Nadler, for instance, during the House Judiciary Committee with William Barr, kept scolding Republican lawmakers who were refusing to wear masks. At one point, one Republican lawmaker was like, "Can I take a sip of coffee?" And Nadler's like, "No, no, you may not." And I give you that anecdote because again, Democrats are like, can you guys just please be adults and understand that getting sick, especially at our age, is not a good idea. Please take care of yourself, take care of your colleagues. This is important. But Republicans haven't been taking it seriously, and that is reflected in the number of lawmakers who have tested positive for coronavirus. So you have Representative Mario Diaz-Balart from Florida tested positive. He's a Republican. Representative Neil Dunn, a Republican also from Florida, tested positive. Representative Morgan Griffith, a Republican from Virginia, tested positive. Representative Mike Kelly, a Republican from Pennsylvania, tested positive. Representative Ben McAdams, who is a Democrat, tested positive, but he is literally the only Democrat on this list who tested positive. Representative Tom Rice, a Republican from South Carolina, tested positive. And of course, Senator Rand Paul, a Republican from Kentucky, tested positive. You guys see the trend here, right? So this nonsense about maybe I spread the virus all over my face as I was wearing a mask is ridiculous. And he doesn't really wear a mask. He doesn't take it seriously. In fact, Jake Sherman, who's a reporter over at Politico, reported on Gohmert's, Gohmert testing positive for coronavirus. And then he received an email from someone on Gohmert's staff. And he shared it on Twitter. I want to share it with you. Said after we reported that Louis Gohmert was positive, we got an email from a Gohmert aide. This is what it said. Jake, thank you for letting our office know Louis tested positive for coronavirus. When you write your story, can you include the fact that Louis requires full staff to be in the office, including 3 interns, so that we could be an example to America on how to open up safely? When probing the office, you might want to ask how often were people berated for wearing masks? So Gohmert berates his own staff members for wearing masks, and he insists on everyone showing up to work, even though social distancing is part of the guidelines to stay safe during the pandemic.
Everything I'm gonna say and everything behind it a million times. How is all of this possible? How, Like we finally as a country face this actual challenge, not one where we just decide to attack a country and create this massive quagmire that kills hundreds of thousands of people. This one actually hit us. And we have failed it so thoroughly that like our elected representative, like Louis Gohmert is a powerful person, He has a lot of power and influence in government, and even him getting the virus won't lead to him taking it seriously. Like if he, God forbid, dies, he's in a car I shouldn't have worn a mask on his tombstone. Like it used to take that, like someone like them had to get sick. Like I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, we were like, well, what happens when, a representative or a senator gets sick? Then they're gonna take it seriously. No, we were stupid. Even if it hits him, he could be in the hospital. He's still gonna be saying that it's not serious. And he's gonna be asking for hydroxychloroquine and stuff like that. We have so thoroughly failed. And it's one thing to look out and to see, 30% of the country doesn't give a damn about any of this. And maybe that's a conservative estimate, but our leaders don't care either. And I've got a Twitter window open. Mitch McConnell's like, he's considering a smaller coronavirus relief package. They were talking about giving people $100 a week in enhanced unemployment. What is smaller than that? You've done nothing in months as 100,000 plus additional people have died and millions more have lost their jobs. They've done nothing, and they apparently don't need to do anything because many of them will be reelected. Louis Gohmert will be in government for the next 20 years probably. Nothing matters. They can preside over massive death, an economic catastrophe, and not even have to pretend to care. Trump has never once, I understand I'm in a bubble, correct me if I'm wrong, I've never seen him actually express remorse for what has happened. I'm not saying he'll blame himself, he'll never do that. But let's say he says, it's not my fault, but my God, the horror of it, that the fact that this would happen to this country that I love, to the people that I love, never, they don't even have to pretend anymore. And 99% of them are 100% safe in their seats in any given election. This entire government simply doesn't function. Most of the electorate doesn't, but the system doesn't literally at all. There are no checks and balances anymore. You can do anything you want. It's a wonder it's not worse considering that there are no consequences.
I love when you go on one of these rants. They're so good, and you're absolutely right. And just to buttress your point, I mean, remember when we reported on Herman Cain testing positive for coronavirus, and he went to Trump's Tulsa rally, the rally that everyone was warned against going to. He wasn't wearing a mask. He was around all sorts of people. He ended up testing positive. And so his staff updated people on his condition. He's still in the hospital, guys. He's in the hospital longer than most COVID patients are treated, and he's on a ventilator. Now, his staff didn't call it a ventilator, but he's on a ventilator. They tweet, "We know it's been a few days since we last gave you an update on the boss, but he is still in the hospital being treated with oxygen for his lungs," meaning he's on a ventilator. In the meantime, the doctors say his other organs and systems are strong. Look, part of having the political ideology, I guess, that we have that sucks is that even if I despise someone, I don't want them to die. I don't want them to get hurt. Like I actually do care about human lives, and I want people to stay safe. And it blows my mind that even after, hearing about what happened to Herman Cain, and all of these other Republican lawmakers who have tested positive for coronavirus, the Republican Party as a whole and the Trump administration does not care about their lives. They don't care about anyone's life. I mean, this party is all about individualism. It's all about me, even if it means spreading a message that puts the lives of their own colleagues, members of their own party in danger. It's incredible. And then they'll turn around and say, no, we're pro-life. We totally want to protect zygotes. Yep.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.